Hello everyone, we are from Group 2 and now we're going to present Chapter 3 which is about strategic marketing planning. The group consists of Satria Kemal rahadi, alaia aidan putri taher, Dagna azzahra irianto, Aqsa Jamal, sakeri, and Robertus gifogo. Next slide please. So these are the three quick questions that will guide you for the presentation. First is explain the differences between business planning, business plan, and marketing plan. Number two is give a brief explanation about three levels of business planning. The third is explain briefly the BCG growth market share matrix and give an example each quadrant of the BCG matrix. The fourth is explain the concept of the product market growth matrix, which is the different function between product market growth matrix and the BCG growth market share matrix. The fifth is explain the definition and concept of ROMI, what is the ratio used for, and what are the things that a company must have to use the ROMI properly. And lastly is explain the definition of control. What is the difference between leading indicators and lagging indicators in control metrics? Next slide, please. So first, now I'm going to explain about business planning. Business planning is the ongoing process of decision making that guides the firm in both the short term and the long term. Planning identifies and builds on a firm's strengths, and it helps managers at all levels make informed decisions in a changing business environment. Planning means that an organization develops objectives before it takes action. In this process, managers develop a business plan to specify the decisions that guide the entire organization or its business units. Next slide, please. A business plan is different from a marketing plan. Marketing plan is a process and resulting document that describes the marketing environment, outlines the marketing objectives and strategies, and identifies how the company will implement and control the strategies embedded in the plan. Market planning, which is the process of organizing and defining the marketing aims of a company and gathering strategies and tactics to achieve them, is the steps to make a marketing plan. Next. The differences are a business plan covers the entire business, including overall strategy, financial plans, target markets, sales, products, and services operations, and how they all relate to each other. A marketing plan, in contrast, focuses on marketing strategy, target markets, marketing mix, messaging programs, etc. A business plan almost always includes the marketing portion. Emphasize varies, and some plans are focused much more than product or service than on marketing. Then lastly, the difference are lots of people do marketing plans rather than business plans because of their job or their attention or their focus is on the marketing, not the whole business. Next.
Oh, okay. I will discuss the three levels of business planning. There are strategic, functional, and operational planning. Next slide, please. Okay, strategic planning is the process by which a company resource and competence are matched to market opportunities. Strategic planning takes place at both the corporate and individual business unit level for large companies like Walt Disney, which have a number of self-contained division or strategic business units. It could also include control measure for directing the strategy implementation. During the 1960s, strategic planning became popular in organization, and it's still an important part of strategic management today. It is carried out by strategic planners or strategists who analyze the organization and its relationship to the environment in which it competes using a variety of parties and research sources. The second one is functional planning. Functional planning is done to guarantee the organization runs smoothly while taking into account the needs of each department. In the department's decentralized corporate management structure, the goal of functional planning is to establish standardized management techniques for corporate function. There are three basic activities on the functional planning. The first one is functional guidance. The second one is goal setting, and the third one is functional assessment. And then we got Operational planning. In the market department, managers are responsible for planning at a third level called operational planning. The level of planning focuses on the day-to-day execution of functional plans. Operational plans might show how many units of a product a salesperson needs to sell per month. In developing an operating budget request, the operation plan is both the first and last phase. The operation plan is the first step in the budget development process, and it provides a plan for resource allocation. The operation plan can then be amended to reflect policy decision or financial adjustment made during the budget preparation process. Next slide, please.
Okay, next I'm going to discuss the BCG matrix and the example of BCG matrix. Okay, so BCG matrix is a portfolio analysis model developed by the Boston Consulting Group, and it analyzes the potential of successful products to generate cash that a firm can then use to invest in new products. It focuses on determining the potential of a firm's existing successful SBUs to generate cash will be used in investing in other businesses. So the BCG consists of vertical axis, which represents the attractiveness of the market, the growth rate, and the horizontal axis, which shows the SBU's current strength in the market through its relative market share. Each quadrant of the BCG uses a symbol, designated business units that fall within a certain range for market growth and market share. So the first quadrant is stars, SBUs with products that have dominant market share in high growth markets. The SBU that has dominant market share generates large revenues, but they also require large amounts of funding to keep up with production and promotion demands. The second one is cash cow, which is SBUs with a dominant market share in a low growth potential market. Competitors don't often enter the market because there are not much opportunity for new companies. The SBU is well established and enjoys a high market share that the firm can sustain with minimal funding. The third one is question marks, SBUs with low market shares in a fast growing market. This type of SBUs is very risky, and if it's not careful, then it might find itself throwing money for a bad investment. And then the last one is dogs, SBUs with a small share of a slow growth market. They are businesses that offer specialized products in limited markets that are not likely to grow. Getting a return on investment from these businesses are almost impossible. So we're going to take a look at an example of a BCG matrix, and I'm going to take a look at Coca-Cola. So the star example is Kinley and Dasani, which is still bottled water brands owned by Coca-Cola and offered in different countries and markets. While Kinley is a quite popular bottled water brand in Europe and Asia countries, Dasani has a strong market share in the US markets. The second one, cash cow, is Coke itself, Coca-Cola. For many years has been the market leader in soft drink and has generated major cash for the company. It has presence in 200 plus countries and has always been the number one choice for millions for consuming soft drinks. The question mark is the small market share obtained by the organization makes the future outlook for the product uncertain. This goes for smart water and honesty. Therefore, investing in such domains is seen as a very high-risk decision. And lastly, the dogs is Coke itself. Because currently Coca-Cola is seeing a decline in demand for carbonated soft drinks due to increasing demand for low-calorie and healthy beverages and snacks. It's attributing to the diminishing sales of Coke. Coke brand, which is currently regarded as a cash cow for the company, will eventually fall in the dog quadrant in the future due to all of the factors mentioned above.
The next topic we will be discussing is the product market growth matrix. Next slide, please. So the product market growth matrix is a matrix that is used to analyze different growth strategies and how a company or a firm can achieve growth. Unlike the BCG matrix that was previously discussed, BCG matrix is used to help managers decide which SBU to invest in, while a product market growth matrix is used to help managers formulate a strategy on how to grow. So this matrix represents opportunities for growth with new or existing products and new or existing markets. So as seen from the matrix, the x-axis represents products, while the y-axis represents markets. And continuing, so there are 4 fundamental strategies in the matrix. It is the market penetration strategy, product development strategy, market development strategy, and diversification strategy. Next slide, please. So first, I will start by discussing about market penetration strategy. This strategy focuses on selling products in existing markets and selling existing products. So this strategy is designed to increase sales of existing products to current customers or non-users or customers from rival brands. So this strategy is actually one of the most low-risk strategy in the matrix because it deals with environment they're familiar with. So that is an advantage. However, it is easier for other rival firms to retaliate, making this a disadvantage. So the second strategy, which is product development strategy, focuses on selling in existing markets and selling new products. So this strategy includes extending the firm's products by developing a variation of a certain product. So they are more familiar with the products, they are more familiar with the markets and the audience they deal with. So it is easier for them to come up with a new variation of a product that could interest their customers or audience, making this a medium risk strategy. The next strategy is a market development strategy, which focuses on selling in new markets and selling existing products. So this includes introducing existing products to a new market, for example, expanding to new geographic area to reach new customers. So the benefit of this strategy is that they can reach out or tap into new markets that have more potential, and that they can also most likely increase sales benefiting from that potential. However, it is possible that without adequate research of the new market background, the strategy might not work out as planned. Similar to the previous strategy, this is also a medium risk strategy. The last strategy is diversification strategy, which focuses on selling to new markets and selling new products. So this emphasizes both new products and new markets to achieve growth. From all of the 4 strategies in this matrix, diversification is the highest risk strategy because it involves with completely new products and selling to a new group of audience or a new customer segment. So this strategy is only advised for companies that are already well established, well recognized, and financially stable. Next slide, please. So now I'll be explaining some of the examples from the product market growth matrix and the strategies. So the first example is for market penetration strategy. An example of a strategy is that a company can entice existing customers by offering discounts or loyalty scheme cards. In this way, they can retain the customers they have and possibly also attract new customers with these simple offers. The second example is for product development strategy. For example, McDonald's frequently add new menus to their product selections, such as the rendang burger and nasi uduk in McDonald's Indonesia. So they deal with the same market, which is the Indonesian market. However, they develop new products that most likely can attract Indonesian customers. The third example is for market development strategy. An example of the firms or the businesses that perform this strategy is Nike and Adidas. They have successfully marketed their clothes for casual wear and also leisure wear instead of specifically for sports. So in other words, they have branched out into different clothing lines. However, they still target the same group of people or the same market. And the last example is for diversification. So an example of diversification is Samsung. They have operations in consumer electronics, such as gadgets, smartphones, but they also have operations in shipbuilding, constructions, retails, chemicals, and also insurance. In other words, they focus on different industries while still being the same company. Next slide, please.
So now we're going to discuss about ROMI, which stands for Return on Marketing Investment. Next slide, please. So ROMI is not like other return on investment matrix because marketing is not the same kind of investment. Instead, it's tied up in plans and inventories. Marketing funds are typically risked, where marketing spending is typically expense in the current period. So people may ask the difference between ROI and ROMI. So ROI is more of a general term, while ROMI is term used solely in marketing. So often when marketers use the term ROI in regards to the marketing channel, they are actually talking about ROMI. Next slide, please. So what exactly is ROMI? So ROMI is the revenue or profit margin. Both are widely used, generated by investment in a specific marketing campaign or program divided by the cost of that program or expenditure at a given risk level, where the risk level is determined by management analysis of the particular program. So ROMI is the revenue or profit margin generated by investment in a specific marketing campaign. And the formula for ROMI can be stated as sales growth minus marketing cost divided by marketing cost. Next slide, please. So for an organization to use ROMI properly, it must first identify the most appropriate and consistent measure to apply. Secondly, it also must combine review of ROMI with other critical marketing metrics. One example is marketing payback, how quickly marketing tools are recovered. And they also should fully consider the potential long-term impact of the action ROMI drives. For example, is the impact sustainable for the organization over the long term? Next slide, please.
Next up, I'll explain the definition of control and what is the difference between leading indicators and lagging indicators in control metrics. Next, please. The definition of control. Control is a process that entails measuring actual performance, comparing this performance to the established marketing objectives, and then making adjustments to the strategies or objectives on the basis of this analysis. The 3 steps of control includes the first one, measure actual performance. The second one, compare this performance to the established marketing objectives or strategies. And the third one, make adjustments to the objectives or strategies on the basis of this analysis. Next, please. And next up,
I'll explain the difference between leading indicator against lagging indicator. For leading indicator, it's the performance indicators that provide insights into the performance of current efforts in a way that allows the marketer to adjust relevant marketing activities, resulting in performance improvements against the current action plan. Whereas lagging indicator is a performance indicator that provides insights into the performance of an action plan based on outcomes realized. In addition, it provides a basis for review and analysis on the action plan with implications for improvement that are focused beyond the scope of action plan itself. Next, please. Next, please. Okay, that concludes our presentation. Thank you.